Oh no, it's bowing in the middle. Fuck. So the table's bowing. So if I were to mold this, I think the table would collapse. Today's the day we finish the goop that runs down. Anyways, yes. So today we are going to be finishing the little goops that's running down. I was thinking of doing like spider, like wedding where the eggs are, but I figured I can just do that myself with a different technique involving an air compressor and a hot glue gun, which looks phenomenal. They use that technique for like haunts and stuff like that for quick webbing. And since it's hot glue, you can get it really thin. It's pretty cool. So what I decided to do with this dude to make it look like there's like a type of goo that's been used by like these pumpkin spiders, right, to create their eggs and stuff, to nestle in, nice and gooey. It gives it more of that gross factor. I got the front done. I got a whole other side to do though. I will say this is probably the most tedious process when it comes to this project specifically, because I gotta lay out all the little drips and blobs of the goo. But so far, I'm liking how it looks, and that's pretty rare for me. Usually I hate everything that I'm working on. I feel like that's like most artists, right? Most artists hate what they're working on, or even if they finish a piece and it looks completely amazing, they still hate it. They can still make changes to it, but there is a point where you just gotta stop, because if you keep refining and working on it, it's just, you're never gonna end. Like, I could work on this piece for like a year, honestly, if I wanted to, just to make everything look so perfect and all that, but it's a waste of time, and I really don't want to be spending a year on this thing. I would like to complete it, move on to another project, but I feel like that's where a lot of, especially beginner artists, have trouble of knowing when to move on from a project, knowing when it's finished. Because you can always be tinkering with it, like I said, never really having an end in sight. And that can really bite you in the butt. Trust me, I would know. I know. I got one whole other side to do of this dude, and it's about time that I work on it. Gonna be doing a stream. Usually I do most of my sculpting when I'm streaming, just because, you know, I'm just chilling, relaxing, so check it out, Metal House on Twitch. Also started streaming here on YouTube as well. If you guys have any questions about sculpting, anything like that, feel free to pop in my stream or even leave a comment in this video. Anyways, let's get to making some blobs, shall we? This just helps smooth it out and round out a lot of those corners. Like go in here and do a little love. You know, I keep saying I'm gonna move on to like the more finer detailing, but then I keep getting ideas for this, and then I just end up continuing to expand the idea of this little dude. So you might have an idea. You don't have to follow it 100%. Take liberties and see where it leads you. Now, I have heard that if you use water-based clay too long, it can mold on you. It can develop mold because it's earth, right? It's literally dirt or clay or whatever from the earth, so it can mold on you, but I haven't had that issue. If you're just starting out sculpting and you're trying to figure out how you're going to, you know, create something, maybe you're creating something big and maybe your hands are sore, right? And you want to pound that clay onto your armature, but your hands are sore. I recommend getting yourself a nice thick piece of wood. You know, I love this piece of wood. I call them woody. So what you can do with woody is literally pound the clay onto the armature. It saves your hands. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes, you know, the clay might be really moist, and it'll really make your wood moist as well, a little bit wet, but I don't mind my wood being wet. You can also use some protection, you know, get like a little bag or something, and you can like throw it over it so it doesn't get too moist and wet. Personally though, I don't mind if my wood gets wet, as long as I can pound that clay in pretty good. So get yourself a nice little piece of wood. So we're coming over here. So how is this gonna drip? Do we have multiple drips coming down? Maybe it's coming down from this way, and then it's kind of running underneath like that. Just use the edge of your tool to hit those corners. You gotta blend it anyways with the water, so it'll get rid of all those marks. Like this. Boom, 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 boom. And maybe we come in here with the tool and just kind of have some little bit of fun there like that. Oh no, it's bowing in the middle. Fuck. So the table's bowing. So if I were to mold this, I think the table would collapse. So that's the thing. The table is bowing underneath. Not terribly, but as the more clay I add, it is gonna bow even more. So I'll have to cut out some 2x4 at some point before doing the molding. So because this mold will probably be 60 pounds, maybe 60 pounds. Plus the clay, which probably close to 100 pounds on this shitty little plastic table. That's okay. I think putting some wood underneath to support it in the middle will help a lot. So, but we won't have to worry about that till we get to the molding. It does collapse down, like it's like one of those folding tables. Fold the legs up and just, you know, put the table flat on the floor, which would probably be safer, honestly. So I might just end up doing that and then just mold it on the floor, so I won't have to worry about the table possibly breaking. And then more leverage with taking the mold off. So probably just do that. Now, there's one thing I want to preface when working with wet clay. You want to keep it moist, not too moist. You know, you don't want to be like so moist and sloppy. It's like, really, you can't work with it. You want it to be moist. You know, if you feel like it's drying out, hit it with some water. Number one rule, keep it moist. These little gross running gooey things, if you're not careful, you can create something like called an undercut, where like the plastic gets trapped underneath, and then when you pull the mold off, you can actually break the plaster off. Your detail will get fucked up. Then you'll have to go in after you cast it in latex, and then you gotta fix it. I gotta make sure I don't have any undercuts, make sure it's all blended smoothly in, so none of that plaster can run underneath and get caught. Look at it, it's all done. Well, the blobs. But now, get into some fun detailing bits. Branches like that are coming out of the sculpture here. These limbs, little like vines. We can start getting into the fine detail with those and the whole thing now. Shouldn't take too long, to be honest with you. We got goo on the eggs, which I'll go in a little bit and refine some of them, but overall I'll just, you know, leave it as is. And then the pumpkin, go into the pumpkin, do some fine detailing, some more lines, and maybe some like little, what do you call it, warts? Pumpkin have warts? I forget what they're called, but pumpkins can develop like those little bumps and stuff. So I might add a few of those. And then the gums, of course, I got to detail. And then just refine the vines and all that. It shouldn't take too long. And then we can just move on to the next part. The next phase of this sculpture, I should say. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog entry. And I will see you guys in the next spooky art video.